Ah, lobsters. Come on, lobsters. Come talk to me, lobsters. I know you're out there. Whew. I'm exhausted. So I've put my other hangout, for those of you who care, on review mode, private mode for now. While I look at all the stuff and read up on all the things and such. I still stand by the idea that it's not about we can't expect people or demand that people go research into every single claim. We have to provide the reason to do it. We have to provide something. We have to show something. Otherwise, you know, it I don't know. It's so difficult explaining why the burden of proof is a thing to people these days. And I don't know why. I don't know when it became difficult. Mm. It's interesting to see that people respond with vitriol rather than reason. And that's still a thing. It's like the exact point that I was making, that you should not respond with emotion, is shown by the fact that people respond with emotion. Like, oh, how dare you, you know, talk about this? You don't know anything about it, so don't talk about it. Like, wait a minute, what? Go research it. What? Where? What? Like, what? We gotta do better. I don't know. It. I think that the problem I have is that rather than talk about stuff like civil people, we throw each other under the bus or what have you. Here we go. Let's try to get somebody in here to talk to me. I'll just add whoever I feel like. Actually, see who shows up. Boy, I've got people on here that no longer YouTube. Lobsters exist. It's the only thing we can all agree on. Lobsters exist. The only thing that's true anymore. Lobsters exist. Actually had a conversation with a presuppositionalist, and I was like, can we at least agree that lobsters exist? And they're like, yeah, lobsters exist. I was like, okay. I think that's as far as we'll get with that. So that was all we could agree on. No, not that person. Let's see. Come on, somebody's got to be online. What happened to Spooky? Like they were here, and now they're not. Uh, hmm. Hmm. And again, I say, See, unless it's controversial, nobody wants to come and talk. Isn't that the other thing, though? We need the controversy. Otherwise, we don't care. It's like, oh, gonna be somebody talking. I don't care about that. Yeah. Wisdom. Yeah. All right. Yeah. What else can I get in trouble with? Politics? I've done that before. I don't like politics. Maybe I should just stick with logic, but even that seems like people want to not understand or agree or, whatever with it. Invited a whole bunch of people. There we go. Let's see. Let's see if anyone shows up. Yeah, sure. Now that I want to talk to people, maybe if I named it Donald Trump Talk, then I'd get people. That's fine. I didn't need those subscribers anyways. Yeah. Actually gained some. That's good. I guess somebody cares. Oh, God. That was rough. It's been 8 days since I heard this news, and still doesn't seem real. I had a good nightmare about it, though. It wasn't even like I saw anything in the nightmare. It's just like I felt something horrible and screamed. It's like woke myself up. Whew. This mortality thing, whoever came up with that, I don't know. I don't recommend it. Come on. What the heck? Let's see. Here we go. Somebody. Gary.
Hello.
Oh, thank goodness.
Hello.
Hey, Gary, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
All right.
How about, can you hear me?
Yeah. Somewhat.
Yeah, this computer gets a little weird, but I got it for free, so I can't complain too much.
That never stopped you from complaining before. So you tweeted out my other thing. I put it on. I put out my last hangout on private mode while I look into all the things. It's interesting. So if you feel like it, you can remove that tweet, but it's up to you. It's basically
I was just trying to be supportive,
No,
anything
yeah.
anything you make, I share.
No. Oh yeah, I like. Yeah, you always help me in that way. I like that. But with this one, I'm like, well, it's a hot take, and there's some. I don't know. I never know what to do. Like when I do a controversial thing, it's like, well, I leave it up so that then when I, if I change my mind, then I can say, okay, well, look, here's when I didn't, here's the thing before, here's the thing after. But the thing is, nobody cares about the part when you change your mind. They only care about the part where you were wrong. It's like,
so many people trying to get points, like there's some kind of game.
So what do you think? Were you there the whole time, or?
No, I was burning up some food.
Oh.
And got distracted with stuff.
I think the other thing is I should have made sure that chat knew that I wasn't in chat when I launched it. It's so weird that like it got attention, whereas like I don't know, it's like because it's controversy, so people want to talk about it. But when
I was talking about something similar once with a friend of mine recently, and she's like me, supportive of LGBTQ. I said, what? I can't. my tragically simple mind has trouble with somehow that there's 76 genders.
Yeah, see that I think that's something else. I don't think that there's science for that per se. I don't know.
I never addressed anyone by their gender. I always said, if someone's named Steve, I say, this is Steve. I had a friend once who was named Jonathan. So Jonathan became Ariel. Just lightness, I said Ariel.
Yeah.
And became Ariel.
Yeah. Well, I knew a Kyle that was a girl, and I knew a Kyle that was a guy. So it's like the name Kyle is either or, as far as I know, I guess.
It's just being polite. I never once addressed somebody as this heterosexual, this hetero.
Yeah, I think that is
zip zoop zoop pop pop. I just used somebody's name.
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of this like gets derailed. It's like, it's like, look, you're not respecting the person because blah or whatever. It's like, what does that have to do with anything? Like, I'm just trying to figure out reality here, okay? Like, just help me figure out what the hell's going on. Don't attack me for having a different viewpoint. It's like,
as long as you're not using derogatory language.
Yeah, and even then it's like, okay, well, why are they doing that? I was watching this thing, this guy, Sargon of Akkad. I don't know if you know that guy.
I used to listen, and then he got to, yeah.
He got to, yeah. Well, I mean, I listen to a whole bunch of different things because I try to keep up with what's going on and try to have a broad outlook. Although I need to find some left stuff to listen to that are reasonable, because I have a lot of conservative things I'm watching now, and I'm like, bleep, I need the liberal stuff to watch and listen to. But anyways, this one guy, Antifa guy, was like, you're not, I want you shut down. You're not allowed to talk here in a public space. It's like, yeah, no, he is allowed to talk there. You don't make the rules. He's trying to physically block him from going to talk. And he's like, well, why don't we have a sit down and talk about it? He's like, no, I don't care what you have to say. You're wrong. It's like, wait a minute. How do you know he's wrong if you don't want to talk to him? Come on.
This reminds me what criticism I have Trump even when he's right, he manages to fuck things up. When Trump was talking about Antifa,
look at all these people.
Only thing he had to do was sit down and have a PowerPoint presentation of like UC Berkeley on fire, and times Antifa's attacked people. Times say, how can you act like Nazis and not be Nazis? No one ever fucked to stay a virgin.
Yeah.
No one ever fucked to stay a virgin. You don't kill to save lives. You
Hey, Snuffy, and I've got Adrian?
G'day.
Who the bleep? Oh, okay, I know who that is. Okay.
Howdy, guys.
I was like, who the bleep are you? Oh, yeah, now I know who you are.
Hey, real quick,
you should remember me.
Before you get too far off topic, because I jumped in and heard like the last subject and before, because oh man, I could go for hours on Trump. But on the whole thing about like pronouns, it's like there's a thing that's going on that's like an undercurrent that people like. I don't think it's being kind of realized yet, but we're an internet worldwide culture where we're basically all choosing our identities that we choose to interact with the world with. And that's not a sexual or gender thing at this point. And my example is, do any of you think my name is actually Snuffy?
Well, right, I did until now.
Snuffy Wuffikus, right.
Sure, why not?
No one has ever batted an eye calling me that in a chat. No one's ever hesitated to call me that in a comment section. And even in the worst comment sections, all I've gotten is a couple of like, "Ha ha, you have a silly name," and it's like, okay, well, you're childish. But
the thing about that though is that the thing you want people to call you by is right there in the chat section.
Right.
There are potentially more
in
than,
real life,
more
we
than
don't wear name
150
tags.
different things, pronouns now, and it's not like they're all going to have them printed out on their T-shirts. And so half of the issue would be, if you really want to go down this road, is actually remembering all of them.
I just use something.
But you don't have to remember all of anything. You just have to remember the person you're talking to, what they want to be called, and that's no different than just remembering my name.
Yeah, well, it depends.
Be polite and address people as they wish to.
See that there. I think what we're talking about is I like this analogy of our avatar name. I because that's something we all can understand, intrinsically. And it's like, yeah, we get to choose that and change that on whim. And I remember being on the internet back in the MRC days when I, could play around and I could be a girl, I could be a guy. It didn't matter. I did notice that girls got more attention, so I would wind up pretending to be a girl more often than not. But yeah, I encountered the people that were being dishonest about their sex to try to get with girls, like guys that were pretending to be girls in order to get a girl. And was like, wait a minute, okay, so you're gonna get a lesbian or bisexual at maybe, and then you're gonna have to tell them that you're really a guy, and you think that they're gonna like you after that? Like, how does that work? And
that's kind of weird. Well, because I mean, I've been into role playing games since I was 13 years old, and that's almost 30 years now, and I can understand the role playing aspect of it because I've played female characters of multiple sexualities in different games before, just for the fun of it and to explore ideas. But in no way did I ever take that to be like I'm tricking someone into a real relationship. And the idea that someone thinks that's what's happening is just sort of a break with reality. If you think your MMO girlfriend is real, then that's...
Yeah, like...
Because I've worked with lots of girls in MMOs, and I don't care if it was a guy playing it, it was role-playing.
Right. Well, in chat, like, it was way back in the day before we had, pictures or whatever, and like everybody could take pictures easy. It's just text. And, I had... I should really write out the thing and put it on my blog. Not that anybody would read my blog, but
hint.
About Naka, and this person was named Naka Naka, and they presented themselves as a girl, and we had this great friendship, and I wanted it to be more, but they didn't. And, and then finally I was like, well, if I just pretend I'm a girl, then I can, then they can accept me. And I don't know where my mind was as far as like what the next step was, but, but then they're like, oh, I have something to tell you. And I'm like, well, whatever it is, it's fine. It's like, no, you're not going to want, you're not going to want me anymore after this. I was like, what do you mean? No, you can tell me anything. No, really, you're going to hate me. And I'm like, no, wait a minute. And in my mind, it's like, hold on. Are you going to tell me the thing that I'm pretending to hide from you? Wait, are you telling me that you're a guy? No, you're not going to tell me that. You're not going to I'm a guy. No! So they were a guy, and I'm like, well, that's funny. You should say that.
Wait. I mean, I'm an old guy, and I'm actually really not up on modern internet stuff. But was that like a double catfish?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, because that's
It's like, oh, I was pretending to be a girl so that I could get with you because you only
why?
like girls.
No,
I was
that's the
pretending to
thing.
be a girl.
I mean, I mean, I like you, man. But why would you think that pretending to be a girl?
Yeah,
would...
I don't know. But see now.
But here's the thing: if you want to get into the issue of transgender, I mean,
No, I don't. I guess I did.
We're getting into the difference between people who are pretending something
Mhm.
for a goal and people who are, I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, people who are trying to be accepted as who they are.
Right, and I think
Big
that was King Crocoduck's point was he doesn't know like how the kid differentiates between play and this serious thing. And rather than give him the links, like I bookmarked like how many pages now that Heathen gave me? Hashtag Heathen gave me like, I don't know. Let's see, how many bookmarks do I have here?
I actually watched a similar thing from Essence of Thought, who I know you love, about Logic earlier today. and I kind of had a similar opinion though, because theirs was all about children being raised by parents who were either accepting or promoting, and what the difference between those were of LGBT. I can't fucking talk, or trans people, and I had a big point there though, because their entire argument was about children being raised this way, and it was like, well, let's say your kid identifies when they're 3, they want to be, called a girl. When they're 9, they want to be called a guy. When they're 15, they don't know what they want to be. Who doesn't? Who cares? Because until they're 18 years old, it doesn't fucking matter, and they need time to figure their shit out on their own, right?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
But that's not what
I've heard some cases where the mother was trying.
Yeah, but
when the mother was trying to make the son wear clothes, and the son wasn't having it. But the mom,
that's
fucked up.
That's one issue. Absolutely. I mean, you can't
Yeah.
force, but to be supportive of a child, even if it's a flight of imagination, to be supportive of your child's flight of imagination. Here's the thing: is that if their quote unquote flight of imagination lasts till they're 18 years old, is it a flight of a fucking imagination?
Yeah.
Right. So just fucking be supportive of your kids.
Oh yeah. No, I agree with that. But the thing was that there's the hormone treatment that's the added concern, because I did not know. Now I know that it's reversible. So I'm like, okay, fine. I did not know that. But then if we don't know what effects it could have on the brain. Okay, now we're back to being worried about it, because it's like, well, so I don't know. I'm not, but in the chat, when I make my next video on the thing, I'm gonna read all these things I was sent, and look at the chat and read through that and try to separate the emotion from the argument, from the science, and have a decent thing on it, so that I'm not, so I'm coming at it from a better, not just, well, this is how I feel about whatever, because who cares what I feel? It's like, what are the facts? That's what matters.
I care what you feel.
Oh, thank you. Well, I don't know that the point that I was trying to make was lost, because I've noticed that when you're really close to a topic, that if there's 2 different topics, that it's like, no, I can't focus on the other topic at all. So the other topic that I wanted to have, which was, how do we respond to somebody that says something that we disagree with? And if they're just plain wrong on the science, then we should just link them to the science, and that would be that, right? but that's not what I saw happen. It's like, oh no, you're being disrespectful, and so you get disrespect. It's like, even if they're being disrespectful, just give them the science. Who cares, right? Like, am I wrong there? You know what I'm saying?
Well,
if it's true, you're being rude by not giving them it.
if I could interject here.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just going to use my own personal experience. I've run men's issues groups for like 5 years now, and what we would do is would try to find the kinds of people who would disagree with us, and I would just try to go to their meetings and just ask questions, not as a member of that men's issues group, but just as a general citizen, as someone that they didn't recognize. That was possible when nobody recognized me. And so I think the first step is to know exactly what the beliefs are that they have, so that when you do go out to dispel myths, you are not accidentally strawmanning them through your own lack of knowledge of what they believe. And then you go from there.
Okay. Well, yeah, that was kind of the point that was being made to me, was like, oh, you need to do the research on your own before you talk about this. And to some extent, I guess, but there's still it's like, look, there's this system of logic that I've been really, really, really strict on, where you made that claim and you give me the reason, then I'll look into it, not the other way around. Like, I'm not going to go look into everything. It's like, well, if you're interested in it, then you'll look into it. Not necessarily. Like, I'm not interested in it. I just have questions. Like, okay, well, then you're supposed to do the research. Well, but how do I even do that? Like, where do I start? Who do I listen to? So, yeah, so, I don't know.
The only thing
expert in all fields, and half the people you see is full of shit.
What was Adrian? What were we gonna say?
The only sort of concern, really, that I would have in regards to trans people is that I would sincerely like to see studies following people who successfully did the hormone transitions versus people who did not, because one thing I would like to know is whether or not that is a better strategy than not doing it. Because we all need to understand that these people have existed for a very long time, longer than any of us has been alive. But we've only just got the technology to sort of do this thing.
Yeah.
And so what we need to know is whether or not what we're doing is actually helping.
I agree with you there, but before you go too far, I wanted to have a question, though. I agree with you. I mean, transgender people have existed as long as we've had human history. From what you just said, though, I had a question, though. When you said a more successful strategy, what do you mean? Because a strategy implies having a goal in mind.
Right. Well, now, before whether or not giving people hormones is a successful strategy, or whether or not we can find out another one. The issues
successful strategy for what? For what?
Dealing with
for everyone involved being as happy as they can be. I mean,
yeah, I guess, because so many of these people commit suicide, and so many of these people.
Okay, no, I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page. As far as just a general outline.
Yeah.
You got to be supportive. Remember Leah Alcorn a couple of years ago? Her parents sent her to a so-called therapist, and between the religious nuttiness and the therapist, she ended up committing suicide. Their parents couldn't handle the fact that she was trans.
Yeah, I'm not going to say what city, but I mean I live in Texas, and I live a little outside of town, but the nearest town I'm to, there's a really large LGBT community, but they're way underground, and it's really weird how fringe it's considered. But the thing is, I mean, these people exist, and they need to be acknowledged in society as equals. I mean, and people shouldn't be having to hide this shit.
Of course, I wholeheartedly agree.
Oh yeah, I don't think anyone should have to hide who they are. In fact, I want all the ideas out there to debate. And, I don't want anyone to not say what their ideas are. And that's kind of what I was saying with how we Gary, you're making echo here. There we go. Okay. How we respond to somebody is as important as and how we try to educate people is important too. And just saying, oh well, you're this or you're that or whatever. Oh, that doesn't forward the conversation. So just calling people flat tards because they think the world is flat doesn't.
Guilty.
Yeah. Well, me too. I'm not. Look. I've done it too, but it doesn't. It's not going to change their mind. Telling them the science might not either, but at least that's you get more. What's it? You get more flies with honey than vinegar or whatever the hell the thing is, right? So you don't. It's just like what I saw in that tweet exchange was. I have this analogy, and maybe the analogy is not good. I don't know, but I have this concern, but oh, you're being rude, so we're going to be rude back. We're going to call you these names, and he's just defending himself at this point. And I'm like, well, I'm with him because nobody's given him a decent argument. Nobody's given him the science, so why should he believe any of them? They've all just been insulting him. It's up to him to do the research. Why should he? He's got other things to do. He's just got to, it's like he's got a concern. He's got a concern.
Many times, I've been guilty many times of telling someone that they just need to do their homework, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But usually that is following.
Oh yeah.
A course in which I've given them examples or citations or something, like at least things that they could follow up on if they were interested.
Exactly. That's
and I agree with you though. If literally anyone was, but I don't see that often. You don't see, like, I don't actually very often see someone like a flat earther or a creationist or an anti-vaxxer who enters a conversation and only gets derogatory comments. So I mean, those are gonna be there.
Right.
I mean, I don't get these, but there's always at least one or two people. And any given, even as toxic as YouTube fucking, comments are.
Yeah.
There's always at least one or two people saying, here are some facts, look them up.
Right. Well, yeah, I didn't.
The thing is, though, those comments could be buried beneath the insults, or potentially, if you are on a particular side, it is in your advantage to make out that all the other side has is insults. So it is in the flat earthers' advantage to point out all the insults that they get always, because that gives them a victimhood complex, which they then get to hide behind.
Yeah,
which
there's
in
that.
Today's day is very powerful.
Yeah, that cognitive dissonance can kick in real hard, and that you feel like you're being attacked, and it's like, look, we shouldn't attack people. We even if it's like, okay, well, I've done that. Okay, well, I shouldn't do that. I should use logic and reason. I should just give the facts. Here's the facts. And I was reminded of this listening to, I think it wasn't Dawkins, Richard Spinner, somebody, I don't remember now, but one of those big guys. And he's that he was reminded that you have to get that every question you get, even if you've heard it a million times, the person asking it doesn't know that you've heard it a million times. So they don't, for them, it's a legitimate question. And so you should, it's James Randi that was saying that, you know, that you have to kind of pause and say, oh yeah, let me think about that, and then give them the answer as if you've never heard the question before, because, you know, instead of saying, I get this all the time, you know, whatever, you know. And so, you know, that way we make a connection and we don't lose that person, whatever the topic is, you know. And it could be anything, because look, there's many things I don't know a damn thing about. Like I've been watching this guy, math logger, or what the hell, I don't know how to pronounce it, mathology guy. I don't understand what he says, but I watch it anyways. You know, I'm like, one day I'll understand this math. The day is not today. And it won't be. You know,
I like
I
that
don't know.
latest mix from Mbazo's music. It's in South African, Zulu. Can't understand a single word, but I fucking love it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. We'd probably not know more about science if we didn't have religion or other prejudices that we've grown up with. And I think that that's another part of this whole particular topic of transgender, but any topic in general, that there's a huge is so much information that you have to go, whoa, wow, I just didn't know, you know. And
I was saying something about that in the side chat. Just what Adrian, you were saying about what we do and don't know about hormone therapy and etc. Because we'll get to a point where hormone therapy is just silly Stone Age witchcraft, because we'll have genetic engineering is right around the corner.
Yeah, CRISPR. Oh man, they're doing some awesome things there.
So I mean, the thing is, we don't know what the best path is, but we have to keep going forward, looking. You know, I mean, and there are gonna be some mistakes. There are gonna be horrible mistakes along the way, because there always are. And that's just a side, that's sad, you know, thing.
But the important thing is that we learn from them.
Exactly.
Always. Sometimes a mistake can lead to a breakthrough in another area.
I mean, I was in grade school when the Challenger blew up. But how much did we learn from that about safety? You know, how much, you know, how many shuttles? I mean, okay, never mind. There's been one or two, but still, how much more safe are we now that we understand how lax we were at the time?
And how many people were inspired by that to go into the space program? Oh, success is not just one person doing one thing. It's a million people along the way that helps. The 1,000,001 influences that helps, inches that one person along. And everyone's contribution, whether it be great or small, is still a contribution.
Okay. That's actually almost an inspiring quote. Just as an aside, like one of the people that I have known online for quite some time is trans. She was born weirdly between the two sexes. So she was one of the very few people that it was actually neither, or both, depending on how you look at it. And talking to her has been very interesting. Certainly, she's a lot smarter than me. And so I think when you talk to someone with a different perspective, it does broaden your own.
Yeah. I've just been, I guess, misfortunate that my encounters have been rather negative. So I have to keep tempering my own brain with, just because the people that I've met have been negative doesn't mean that everyone is negative. And, you know, the small doesn't equal the whole. and
That's
it's really hard. It's there's something in your brain that's like no, that wants to just make that connection, but I won't let it happen.
right. Well, maybe maybe I'll send you an article written by this person, and it
Yeah.
actually is about discrimination and how that works in your mind.
Oh, that'd be great. I'd love it. Yeah.
But sort of weirdly troll question I would like to ask is: this woman actually voices sex dolls. So is it gay to make love to a sex doll voiced by a trans person?
We're not going down there.
That is awesome.
Look,
My head hurts already. Stop it.
Look, if
I demand to know.
look, it's like the trap thing on the anime thing with the hentai and all that. Is it a trap? And are you gay if you like a trap? I don't know. Is the answer? Just leave me alone.
No, man, you need to.
Hey, don't
you
fall
need to figure out your
into
own
Haggard syndrome, where it just gets in your mind and you just go and churn, and then
figure out your
you're
own
shooting the place up, or you snorting coke off the ass of a male prostitute.
Figure out your kinks, own them, and be okay with it.
If you know, then maybe it is. But if you don't know, then it's not. That's the answer.
Now, you know what? Like I am like pretty much as straight as an arrow. But if she's that hot and she's got a penis, I'm like, I'll take a handy.
Then, okay, well,
that's disrespectful because I'm not a one date guy, and that was a throwaway joke because honestly, I need to get to know someone before I'm comfortable. Handy. The fact that legs is actually secondary to whether I respect them and like them enough.
Well, there goes
I handled my friend coming out as trans. I went over to Jonathan's house, and Jonathan is Ariel. And the first words out of my mouth is, "What the fuck are you doing wearing that?" She goes, "What's wrong with the dress?" I said, "That dress does not say hi, I'm transgendered. That dress says hi, I'm part of the Republican Party. You look like a young Barbara Bush. For fuck, something blue." God damn.
I'm not dissing that you're transgender. I'm dissing your bad taste in clothing.
Look,
she looked like a more feminine version of Barbara Bush. It's just I don't think being transgendered is something she was hiding. She has conservative leanings.
That's not even something that comes up, though. I mean, literally, when I first meet someone, I don't really care. I mean, is that a girl? Is that a guy? Is that a hot guy? Is that an ugly girl? I don't fucking care. I want to know whether or not I can be friends with this person and be like respectful. And are they into D&D or video games? And can we hang out?
Yeah, but like, the base instinct
between their legs comes up so much later after I've become their friend.
Base instinct is sometimes hard to overcome. And the base instinct I would say is, can I eat this? Will it eat me? And can I have sex with it? And those are not necessarily mutually exclusive.
Bump.
Xenomorphs.
Xenomorphs. Will it eat me? Can I eat it? And I have sex with it? Well, I think the answer is yes. Actually, wait, have we ever seen a human eat a xenomorph?
Excuse me, I gotta go kill my dog.
Okay, cool. Good. Yay. I hate dogs.
Come on, we all species. Also, you can't say you hate dogs when like half of your guests like have dog avatars.
I still hate them.
I hate people who hate dogs. So now
okay, fine. That's fine.
I hate lobsters. So there.
That's well.
I can't say that. I love lobsters. They're so fucking tasty.
Look, I can't help that I hate dogs. It's just part of who I am.
We can't help that Jordan Peterson made lobsters 1 million times more popular either.
Look, I made them popular first.
I can't hate that I hate homosexuals. I mean, it's just who I am.
Well,
Dude, just admit it. You're a canine bigot. Just admit it.
no, yeah, I hate. Yeah, no, I'm glad that I hate dogs, and if I could do it again, I'd hate them more.
So that's the part where I say the N-word a whole bunch of times because
Yeah.
I'm not.
You have a free pass. Oh yeah,
What is wrong with you? Dogs only love. Dogs are cool.
I'm afraid of them. It's not my fault.
Face your fear.
No, I don't want to.
Literally like saying you're afraid of babies as far as
Look.
I'm hearing. Like,
Well, look, there was this guy I was watching Impractical Jokers, and one of them has a fear of cats. So they got these little kittens and they put it on him, and he was terrified. And it was funny because he's scared, but it's also not funny. It's not funny to him. He's really scared.
The worst bite I ever got was from a baby, not a dog. Little toddler. I wasn't paying attention. Little toddler walks right up to me, sinks its teeth, what teeth it had, right in my arm. I jumped up. The baby is hanging by its teeth.
Yeah.
I mean,
Look, yeah, there might be a baby phobia. Who knows? I don't know. But yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know.
free hat.
See what I did?
Deep cut there. Think about it.
But should we trying to be serious, but we can't do that. This chat is like so disconnected from the chat room is like its whole other world right now. See,
Holy shit, you have a chat?
yeah, I know. You forget about that, right?
we're live. Oh no!
We're live. Oh my god.
No, if I knew, I would
all
be in
the
there
good
talking
things.
shit too. That's all.
Look, all the good things I said about Hitler. Yeah, forget about that. Yeah. He had good paintings, all right. Yeah, what if, going back to the sex doll robot, what if the voice was Hitler?
Wait. Have we ever, hold on.
Voice is sexy, and I don't.
When were we at the sex doll robot, and how are we going back to that?
Because whoever brought if it's a guy doing the voice, I don't know who it was now. What if it was?
Okay. Oh, your friend.
Yeah, so
Okay,
what if
it was me that brought up that some of them are voiced by trannies. So,
yeah, so what if we
I
had it
found
was
that amusing.
voiced by Hitler?
Well, you don't fuck the voice.
No, here's the thing. If you're using a sex bot.
Oh man.
If you're using a sex
I
bot.
can understand. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, if you're using a sex bot, then, like, why do you have these other issues in your mind?
Look, I don't know, but I'm just saying. Like if you're
Or are you using a sex bot because you have these other issues?
maybe I think if you get a sex bot with the voice of Hitler, you might have an issue. I don't know. I don't want to
I
make
can understand getting attracted to the voice because Annie Lennox, I mean, I liked her music, but I only found her sexy when I heard her talking in an interview on MTV. Like, holy shit, this woman can read the phone book and not buy the CD.
Oh,
Sexy voice.
oh man. What if no, okay, I'm done.
I'm glad to hear you laugh.
It would just encourage more penis and sex robot mouth time. That's what Doorknob had said. Okay, but now, yeah, whatever.
That's a lonely soul that
It's Jar Jar Binks' sex robot voice I'm in.
Oh God.
No.
Hey!
Tell me now.
Misa want you badly. Misa ride you all day long.
Oh my God.
Use the force.
Let's stop him before he does a 20-minute bit on this.
Okay, so what's the deal with Jar Jar Binks?
The only thing that he can do a 20-minute bit on is saying "I am a turkey" over and over again.
Hey, did you find the secret hidden message though?
No.
Oh, and then you didn't watch the whole thing.
Yeah.
I think he was more trying to say he is the Eggman, cuckoo cuckoo.
There is a secret hidden message in the middle somewhere, not necessarily in the middle, but somewhere in there.
Is the
But
fan
yeah,
loud?
what? What?
Is the fan too loud?
Yes, because I could not hear you when you asked.
Okay, sorry.
You just have to sweat. Sorry, you know. But yeah, I mean, I think I'll do a video and it probably will be edited about that other topic that I had the live hangout on just before this one. Because I do want to. Maybe I'll get you guys involved. I don't know, but you know, to talk about maybe it should be broken down into two different things. And talk about the topic at hand, and then the way that we respond to people. Because the one person was just like, "Oh, F this guy," and I'm like, "Okay, whatever," you know. I mean, good job, you know. All right, you got me.
But so far, I like the Australian solution to this, which is just to call everybody either mate or cunt, depending on whether or not we like. And if we dislike you, we call you mate, just for the record.
Yeah, right. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Seems logical.
I don't know, but that Jar Jar.
So do we have further serious subjects to discuss?
Mortality, I guess.
How do you start a hashtag?
How do you start a
Easy.
Hashtag Ted Haggard syndrome.
What's? Oh, that's the where you can
Where you get so fixated that with homosexuals for no apparent reason that you either shoot up a nightclub or you snorting meth off the ass of one.
Yeah. Well, because he was one, I think, and he hated himself, sort of thing. I think that was the Milk, this documentary on called Milk. It was about this mayor.
Yeah, it's San Francisco.
Yeah, San Francisco, and the guy, you know, eventually he kills him, and then he eventually killed himself way later. But I'm like, I think that guy himself was gay, and he hated that he was gay, and that's why he hated the guy.
Is he the one that came up with the Twinkie defense? Is the sugar imbalance?
I don't think so. No.
I remember the judge said, you went across town, you got the gun, you loaded the gun, you came back, and this all took X amount of time. That's not temporary insanity.
Oh yeah, he did get off, which he got some jail time, but not as much as you would think. He got I think 3 years. I was like, dude, you did premeditated murder. How did you get 3 years? I don't know, but
that's a whole nother topic. This is perhaps going to be a controversial statement, but I often think that we do overdo it a lot when it comes to how long we jail people, and I don't think there's much evidence that when people come out, they're actually reformed, and so I don't think our system is particularly good at present.
Oh yeah, no,
and I think it could be better.
So
But that's a whole nother fucking topic.
That's a
first of all,
conversation.
First of all, though, I mean, our system, because I don't think the American and the Australian system are exactly the same. But on the other hand, if Australia is anything like America, then that system ain't fucking working for shit.
Yeah. Well, no, but see, I'm a bit confused because didn't we just send all our criminals to Australia? So
That was the English.
2 whole fucking generations ago, dude. Wake up, pay attention, pay attention.
look, I'm just saying. I thought that we were still doing.
Yeah, it's so funny to hear that Australia doesn't want to accept people that have a criminal record. I'm like, are you shitting me?
Yeah,
I don't think that
Like,
they had a choice.
have you not read the history of the whole of the entire country?
I was talking to somebody once, and I made a comment about deporting immigrants. He says, "Well, what would you do? Why don't you deport the white racists?" I said, "I would love to. What country would take them? Tell me the country. We can boot these motherfuckers out." But no, none would. So we're fucked.
My one of my relatives has a solution, and it's mostly an Australian joke, but that is to send them to Bali with a complimentary boogie board. And the reference there is that there have been Australians who've tried to smuggle drugs in the boogie boards into Bali, and their jail system is quite brutal.
What the hell is a boogie board?
Boogie board's like a surfboard.
It's a smaller version of a surfboard. Yeah, it's like a half a surfboard. It's like a surfboard cut in half, essentially. Not long ways, but the other way.
Yeah, I think you said what's a boogie board again?
It's like a miniature surfboard.
Oh, okay, all right. I was trying to get him to say boogie board again. Say boogie board again.
Why do you want me to say boogie board again?
I don't like it. I like how you say it. say shrimp on the barbie.
We have prawns here, so we'll just say prawns on the barbie.
No, say shrimp on the barbie.
Yeah.
Do it.
That's a total lie. And for the record, I have never drunk Foster's in my life.
Perform for me.
See, I've drank
Fosters.
Have I drank?
It's got to be a hell of a lot better than Budweiser.
Nah, man.
I've actually tried that, and
Budweiser shit. Foster's is.
Snuffy, do what I'm telling you to do.
No,
demands it.
I'm not You need to pay me if you want me to whore.
Look, they said that they want a shout out from you.
I'll be honest though. I'm not gonna say what you told me to say.
Fine,
but
say something else.
I will say that Spooky Bed Hair is awesome as fuck, and Brian Stevens, so much fucking respect.
All right. Not what I wanted to say.
No, I'm not gonna. What? Seriously, no.
It's more funny. What I wanted to say was funny.
Sorry, no, I'm sorry. What I'm
they don't care if I think they're hot. I'm
not
gonna say
a slut.
it.
I am a whore, so pay me.
I'll do it. I'll say Brian Stevens, doorknob head, Skid Row trash, and Brian Stevens make me hot and bothered. And oh yeah, there. See, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I'm not anti. Doing that, whatever that is.
No, you want me to read off of a script?
Yeah,
pay me.
No, look.
And also, you'd have to write the script first as well.
I did write the script. It was over there. You didn't see it.
I see. So you've done something.
Seriously,
That's amazing.
On a real note, without all the controversy, though, Spooky, like, so much respect, like one of the most awesome people I've met on the internet, and Brian, ridiculously fucking smart, and on my own page he's given me advice about a lot of intellectual scientific type questions I've had.
The science and the sciencey things and thing.
Look,
I don't know what credentials, but things have, every advice he's given me has, seemed to line up with reality. So there you go.
All this goodwill, I don't know how to deal with it.
Back to your irrational hatred of dogs.
Yeah, that's right. Back to your irrational hatred of people.
Dogs.
Dogs in particular.
I have a goofy little puppy here that would sooner.
All of you.
Another thing, and you downvoted her video, so you're mean.
I'll do what? Yeah, stop downvoting people. Somebody's gonna dislike this hangout. That's what's gonna be funny. Just
we should all just do that just to be funny.
Just like this video. No, who cares? No, we should. No, look, like it.
Dislike this video and do not leave a comment.
Dude, I always get that. That's like every video I have is that way. But no, seriously, if we're getting all sentimental, no, I've had a lot of great comments from everybody, both verbally and in text, from all you guys, girls, and robots out there, and I appreciate it, especially when I don't understand or agree, because that makes me learn stuff.
That you're a meanie butt and you hate dogs.
Look, once again, I'm afraid of them, therefore I hate them. They terrify me.
Only thing my dog would ever do is lick you to death.
I don't care. It's scary to me. It doesn't matter. Look,
all right.
Whatever you're afraid of,
I don't want to dig in.
Dog.
I don't want to dig in because I have some fears that are irrational. But what exactly is it you fear? Because I've examined some of my irrational fears and gotten over them. And some of my fears I've determined were rational and I held on to them. So what exactly is it that you fear about dogs? I mean, is it certain kinds of dogs, large dogs, dog behavior, the idea of dog?
Yes.
And it's God spelled backwards.
Yeah.
He's doubly hatred of all.
Doubly hated. No, I've had bad. I don't know if it's one thing or if it's, I don't know, but I've had bad experiences with dogs, and I don't like them, and they scare me. So yeah, that's it.
I would completely understand if you said cats, because cats are horrible. But yeah.
Oh yeah, cats are terrible.
Yeah, cats do not chase you while you're biking down the street.
No, let's turn deconverted.
But they kill rabbits and put it right in front of your face. That happened.
Let's turn the converted man's own logic against him. Like, what logical reasons can you give to be afraid of dogs? I mean, you can steel man us. You can come up with what logical reason do you have for your fear? And admitting it's illogical is fine. I'm not trying to hold your feet to the fire there.
Yeah.
We can't control our fear. I mean,
basic
phobias.
Well, I think that the experiences I've had have been mostly negative, so that probably painted a bad picture in my brain that then became like all dogs instead of just whatever, the ones that bothered me kind of thing. So I think it's just an emotional extrapolation from experiences or something like that.
It's a small dog that'll bite you.
Well, it's not small dogs. It's not small dogs that chased me on bikes. So that was my big thing. Is that both as a kid, my aunt, my uncle had a big dog named what was it? Was it Rex or something? Yeah, I think it was just Rex or something. But anyways, and it peed on me when I was a little kid. That was kind of, I was like, what the, I was really disturbed by that. And plus it was big and I thought it was going to eat me when I was because I was, pretty small then. But then later in life, anytime I'd be biking, if there was dogs, they would chase me on my bike. I'd swear they'd get out of their leash somehow, or they wouldn't have one, and then chase me, and I'd be like, get away, and I'd book it out of there. And then as an adult, I was biking, minding my own business, and this big giant dog would come after me, and I'm like, oh my goodness, and this. The one time I turned to confront the dog, and the little dog that was chasing me, and this big one came up, and because of that, like I jerked my wheel, and so I wound up hurting my bike and ruining the bike. And the owner was like, I was like, yeah, well, shouldn't have been out. And then the other guy's like, oh, what are you gonna do about it? I'm like, I don't know, sue you guys. He's like, do whatever you need to do. I'm like, yeah, well, give me something for the bike. I mean, it's basically your guys' fault. And the owner was like, well, here's $20. And I'm like, well, okay, fine, whatever. That's not going to fix my bike. But, the other people were just being jerks about it. Like they had every right to let their dog chase me, which they did. They let their dog out to chase me. They did that deliberately. I know.
Okay. Well, I know from my experience, my dog would chase you on a bicycle because it wants to play.
Yeah, but this thing is as big as like the bike. So
here's the thing. There are leash laws in most places, and I agree with them. Not because I think that the dogs chasing you wanted to hurt you, but because it's dangerous to them to be out running in the street.
Yeah.
Dogs get hit by cars. That's why we have leash laws. It's for the dog's protection, in my opinion. But what I'm hearing from you basically is that, you had some bad experiences, and that sucks. I mean, and that's traumatic. But then the last couple of things you described were almost a perfect example of the fact that it was the dog owners who were being assholes and let their dogs out, etc. And if they're asshole dog owners, they might not have raised their dogs very well as well.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, what I'm kind of hearing you say is basically the equivalent of let's not pick out a particular race. Let's say I grew up and I was attacked by green people. No, I was attacked by those green people when I was a kid a couple of times, and then I was in a situation where I realized that the grown-ups of those green people were assholes and trained their kids to be assholes. So you can kind of see how being prejudiced against green people is understandable because of your personal traumatic experiences, but on a logical level is sort of something that you might want to get over.
Yeah. You can go and do therapy on it, but I don't want to. I like not liking dogs.
Oh, well, okay. Well, then we have it line because you're just choosing to be a fucking bigot. Right there.
I don't care. I don't want
drugs, man.
I don't want to not.
I just choose to hate, this demographic or that sexuality. I like hating them.
I suppose I could get therapy to get over that. I suppose.
Hell, when I went over to my mom's, there was this one dog was chasing me along the way.
But what's in it for me?
It drive me crazy, and finally one day I just stopped, and the dog stopped, and I looked at me, and I said, "Hell!" It came up, licked my hand, wagged its tail, and ran off.
I've been bitten by a few dogs, and I still don't hold it against them.
No,
it's not all dogs in general. It's some dogs and a lot of bad owners.
Yeah. Wow.
And I think you know that.
Yeah.
But, otherwise, you wouldn't have so many dogs as avatars on your channel.
I mean, I'm not responsible for who comes here.
I think you actually are.
I mean, I'm not. I don't. My brain hurts.
I was attacked by a German Shepherd once.
I was attacked by a bird once. That was kind of weird. That was like the most. That was actually. I was walking and under this tree, and this bird just came out of nowhere and starts coming after me, like and I'm like running
That
away.
sounds like a logical thing to do.
And I'm like, what the bleep? Yeah, because I was near his nest, I guess. And I'm like, dude, bird, I don't know your nest was there. Okay, like,
I have a scar on my own forearm from my own dog, Snuffy Wuffykiss, because that's my dog's name, actually. And as Doorknob Head points out, don't try to break up dog fights unless you know what you're doing and have backup. Even if it's your own dog, they'll accidentally bite you, maybe.
Yeah, when I was a kid, when the German Shepherd attacked me, I held up my hand like I was told in school. Dog sniffed the hand, licked the hand. I moved my hand, it tried to eat my hand. I'm fighting the dog. The owner comes out, gets the dog off of me. I have a cut above my left eye. Blood's going into my eye. And the bitch goes, "Did my dog bite you?" I saw that she had a cross with a little Jesus torture pendant on it. And I said, "No, God gave me stigmata and his aim is off today." And for a fraction of a second, she looked like she was about to say, "Really?" I said, "No, bitch, of course your dog bit me."
But here's the thing. In every example, it's always like, the dog not being raised right or extraneous circumstances, so.
So it's not dogs I hate, it's humans. Okay, got it.
Yes, exactly. You just need to direct your hate in the correct place.
Yeah, it's humans. Okay, got it. I hate all humans. All right, back on track.
No, just shitty humans. You need to, you need to focus. There's a focus knob on the side, on the left-hand side. You need to turn it.
Yeah, okay.
You need to focus in here.
All right. But then I need a scientific way to determine who's a shitty human. So now we're back to square one.
Honestly, I don't have a problem with this. I mean, just look into secular humanism. It all comes down to well-being. It all comes down to whether you're causing harm to another.
The what now?
Is that unfortunately bad people don't wear signs.
That's the... Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
what do you think about the Pete Buttigieg and the Franklin Graham story?
I don't know anything about it.
I have no idea who those people are.
I don't care.
Franklin Graham is son of Billy Graham. Pete Buttigieg is an openly gay married man running for president.
Wow.
Franklin Graham's a supporter of Trump, and he's bashing Buttigieg for being gay. Like, dude, you support a guy who's broke more commandments than Buttigieg in his entire life. I mean,
it's selective. It's so selective with Christianity. Well, with any religion, you pick and choose what you want to be true. I mean, I have this one person on Twitter that I follow, and they're honest with it. They're like, I rebuilt my faith in God to get rid of the things I didn't like from the Bible, and this is what God is to me now. And I'm like, well, that's great, but I mean, it's you. You're arbitrary. You're saying, I did this. I was real. God helped me through this, that, or the other thing. I'm like, no, you help you through those things. You're the one that you should be complimenting because it's you. And they're like, but for whatever reason, their brain needs it to be God. Maybe they have a self-conscious issue or a self-esteem issue or something. I don't know. But they're very honest in that their God is their version of God. It's like they don't have a problem with that. It's like, oh, that's at least honest. I've met theists that are like, no, this is the God. This is how God really is. And I'm like, no, you got to be honest and say that's your idea of God. So she's to me a reasonable theist, because at least she'll admit that, you know, the God that she worships and believes in is her own idea of God. You know, she wants it to be real. She hopes it's real. You know,
Yeah. I was that. I was a great mental gymnast. I came up with so many excuses through so many disciplines to make this one version of God that I thought was true. And then I stumbled across Thunderfoot's work, and I went, "Oh, I'm pulling shit out my ass.
oh yeah.
It's not a way to live."
Well, I suppose for, you know, I think that some people's brains just is like wired that way, I guess. Because like I'm like, well, why can't you just accept that it's you, not God? And she's like, well, because it's God. And I'm like, but it's not. It's you. It's like, nope, but it's working for me. And I'm like, well, I mean, I know it works for you, but that whatever.
If they say it's God and gives them some self-important cool points, I figured it out. I'm special. I'm clever. Look at my logic here. And the fact that they're talking about God somehow gives it extra weight. I know it did for me.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I understand the, you know, what it is to believe and not, and I think I get why some people can't let go. You know, there's a big psychology to that. But I prefer it when they're honest about it and say it's just my belief, versus those that promote like, oh, God hates this. No, God doesn't actually hate that. That's not what your book says. You don't even know what your own book says. Yeah, the ignorant Christian annoys me more than the knowledgeable one that actually understands that, you know, the word homosexual wasn't in the Bible and that's not what it means. Yeah, I did a whole thing on that when I Karm Harm 2 going against Matt Slick.
Electric Boogaloo.
Yeah. Matt Slick's whole diatribe on homosexuality just is totally non-biblical and nonsense. So.
The only reason why they get into that is for every guy that doesn't care about homosexuality, everyone that is homosexual, is on some level the rest of the guys go, ew, 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 ew. No, I'm not gay. See, I'm Christian. Oh, I'm not gay.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, if you protest it too much, you might actually be it. And I think that's why, you know, it's like, well, why don't they go after adultery? Because that's
hold on a second. Hold on a second.
Okay, go on.
No, just real quick though. I mean, the whole point about having respect for people who have read the Bible and still apologize for it, as opposed to people who are ignorant to it. I mean, I'm sorry, can't hear you, Adrian. I was just saying that I can't have respect for someone who is actually knowledgeable of the Bible and still tries to defend it, because at that point they're defending things like slavery, rape, and genocide. As if they're just ignorant of the Bible, at least they can be educated. I mean, at least I might have respect for them in the future. So, I mean, that seems kind of like a backward attitude as far as.
Well, I mean, it's more respect of those that actually understand what the.
Well, that means that you have more respect for people like Matt Powell, you know, who actually advocate for fucking rape and killing homosexuals.
No. Because that's not what it. Yeah, but see, they're not actually, you know, getting it either. That's what I'm saying. It's like there's usually the ones that get it the most are not apologists at all, because they know enough to not try to defend it at all. They're just like, this is what I believe, and at that point, it's like, well, I can understand that. I mean, I you know, you know enough to not try to say that the Bible says this when it actually doesn't. Like, we hear the, you're a fool if you don't believe in God. It's like, yeah, do you know the rest of that though? No, of course they don't. So it's like, okay, shut up. Come back when you know. It is kind of that. It is kind of like what I was complaining about earlier. It's like, no.
What I was laughing about is Christians have the biggest portion of statistics that have multiple marriages.
Yeah,
that's
why they probably
abstinence only, and have children who have not only had kids but multiple kids before they get old enough to stop being teenagers. They don't understand. You don't understand adultery.
Yeah, no, it can be a very hypocritical sort of system. I've seen it more than once, but it's usually the people that are they think that they have the right version of it, and that's what makes them dangerous. It's those that say, well, I don't know that I have the right version. It's like, okay, that's better. That's like a little bit better, than the other one. At least
it's like me with my rage issues. I wouldn't think like this if I wasn't right. So I got to be right because I think like this. Logic is perfect.
Yeah, well, I'm right all the time because when I was wrong, I thought I was right. Same sort of thing. Hey,
it's hard to break free of that.
Adrian, did you get my message about Twitter being you should have like complete control of Twitter now, right? No, he's gone.
Pardon?
Did you see my tweet to you?
No.
It was from the other person. They said that Twitter is run by MRAs. So I thought I was like,
God,
dude, did you not hear the news? I was like, oh, dude, you should be so happy now. You're like in charge. Did you not know that? And I was like, what?
Yeah, it was only a couple of years ago since somebody said that apparently I also run egalitarianism.
Yeah, well, you just ruin everything. I mean,
like it's like yes. It's like I don't know if anyone remembers that little like I think it was like a special that they put on, I think it was BBC or one of their internet channels anyway, where somebody said that feminism was a human undertaking, whereas egalitarianism is an MRA undertaking. And I'm like, wait, did you just call me a lizard person?
When did you stop being human? I mean,
yeah, like when did I stop being a human being?
Well, I was having a whole debate with this one guy that was saying, feminist means this thing, and I'm like, well, that's what people are saying that it means. How is it being used? Like, because the problem, this is the whole thing. I really don't. There's no way to solve it. The problem of definition, like everybody that says they're a Christian is a Christian because they're but. And in the same vein, anyone that claims to be a feminist is a feminist, but it means something. What does it mean? And who decides? And that whole question. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's always been the issue for literally everything ever.
Yeah, I mean, but so I was saying, look, it doesn't matter that I said you have this word I can't even say it.
Egalitarian.
Yeah, that's the one. You have that word, and yet you're saying, well, you're a feminist. Why? You say because feminism is about women's rights and all this, and men's rights as well. I'm like, well, why are the women above the men? It's like, well, women have more problems in the world. Like they're more oppressed than the men. Like. I'm like, well, not in the West, maybe in Islam, sure, but then why?
Well, you can't criticize Islam because that's somehow racist,
right? Well, so it's like, well, sure, but
I'd honestly respect them if they were that honest, just to say, yeah, it's advocation in this one way for this group of people, but for a lot of them aren't that honest, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, and that's what I was saying.
How did the word end up being co-opted in the first place? Because how does just the general idea that everyone should be treated equally, end up getting co-opted to mean the exact fucking opposite. You know?
Right. Yeah, I don't know. And then you have those that say I'm a feminist and then proceed to say nonsense. And he's like, well, those aren't real feminists. And I'm like, no true Scotsman. I was like, look, I get what you're saying, but look, the word has become so polluted. Why would you ever call yourself this at this point? Because you want to forward the issue of women's rights. Great. Perfect. Just be a women's rights activist. Why hold the mantle? It's like, well, he asked me, would I drop the word skeptic if it became tainted? I'm like, I probably would. But there are good arguments to make of why atheists said, no, we're gonna make atheists okay again. We're gonna make it's okay to be an atheist, kind of thing. But maybe there's a difference and I'm not seeing it, or maybe I'm just being picky, because it's like, on the one hand, I can argue that well, we should defend the word atheist even if it got so poisoned, whereas I'm like, feminist, who cares, so I'm not being
well, that perhaps another example might be useful, like, for example, the OK sign.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, like, is it okay to do the OK sign?
Yes, it is, of course. Well, that's the silliness. I think that's the extreme. And what I was reminded of was the MAGA hat insanity. And what happens is it's very easy to say, well, every leftist is insane because look at how they're treating people with the MAGA hat. Well, no, that's not every leftist. It's, you don't get to see the leftist that's getting along with the MAGA hat person because the news doesn't show that. Because it's
you
not,
don't see the forest from the trees.
It's not news. That's the normal behavior. You don't see normal behavior. You see the outlandish behavior. That's what's shown on the news. That's what makes it a story. It's just like my thing where I thought, well, I should we were doing on a houseboat trip, and we had a speedboat, and some people were doing skis, but I did the inner tube because I knew I couldn't do the skis for Jack. And I thought, well, I'll do it one more time. And I had this idea in my head that saying one more time, you should quit. If you ever say one more time, it's time to quit. But I did it one more time anyways, and then I got hurt a little bit. So it must mean something that I went against the thing that I knew not to do. So now I should never do something after I say one more time. I should always stop there because there's a pattern here. No, it's one-time event, but it's not a story if nothing had happened to me. If I hadn't gotten hurt, there's no story to tell.
Oh, it's like Mark Twain said, don't be the cat that sat on a hot stove. He goes, what happened is I never sat on anything again, any stove again.
Yeah. I mean, we remember the hits. We don't remember the misses. We remember the things that are stories. We don't remember the mundane, the non-story. So it's so easy to say, okay, you see these people behaving insanely, and then you extrapolate that to the rest of the group.
Right. So what I have been trying to do is to deal with people as individuals. I will go on my page and I say I disagree with X, Y, and Z person who may or may not be a feminist, and say because of this, and I agree with this other person who may or may not be whatever ideology they are because of that.
Yeah.
There are all sorts of people where I will strongly agree with them on one thing and strongly disagree with them on others. And I think it's now to a case-by-case basis to me of whether or not I agree with you of what subject. And so I think that's where we're going to go ultimately, where we just try to deal with individuals and the people who follow those individuals as if what they say is gospel. for lack of a better term.
Yeah, it is easier to go after a group sometimes than to go after the individual. Like it's so easy to be like, oh, feminists are just insane. Which, like, okay, maybe a lot of them are, but then you get I have the other problem with like Islam. Islam's evil. Period. Just saying, Islam is evil. Maybe the people are good because you hear not all Muslims are bad. It's like, well, fine. I'm not worried about the bad ones, or the good ones, rather. I'm worried about the bad ones, and I'm worried about the system itself because the system itself is bad. And I don't know if you all saw it.
What you're basically saying is that Islam is evil, and I agree with you there. And I would add the stipulation that most Muslims are the first victims of Islam.
Exactly, because of the theocracy. Even Bangladesh, which is in theory a secular country, in practice is a theocracy. I've been doing videos about atheist bloggers who's trying to support equality for minorities and are being hunted down. When the government get asked about trying to help rescue these people, the answer from the government more often than not is, well, if you're being killed for being atheist, stop being an atheist.
Right. And I just had tweeted out a while back Teldar video, TLDR, and he talked about the land ownership under Sharia law. And if you haven't seen this video, you should watch it because I didn't know this. Maybe you do, but it was just scary. Under Sharia law, basically, the Muslims always own the land because it belongs to God. And so the land is God's, and therefore you can't take it because you're not Muslim. You weren't given to it. You weren't given this land to by God. Only they were. So they can take more land, and it's God that gave them that land. But if you take their land, you've taken God's land, and now you have to give it back. And it's like, what?
Yeah, a lot of cases, I think when they show video footage of people saying death to America in a Muslim country, a lot of people probably just want to go on about their damn life. But if they don't look enthusiastic in front of everyone else screaming death to America, the religious police will arrest you.
Yeah.
Family would inform on you. You can't trust anyone, and the government can't trust anyone because everyone has to act like they're enthusiastic. I really think one day there will be a time where somebody who like fought ISIS goes home. They're talking about a guy who has psychological scars that can be seen from space, who's seen the absolute worst, and is told, hey, we have to go attend this public execution. He snaps, kills the executioner, turns thinking I'm fucked, and sees 90% of the crowd smiling. Then look at each other and go, wait, you too? 5% of the crowd is screaming, kill him, and the other 5% is trying to hide. I really think that day will eventually come.
Yeah, well, eventually somebody will stand up to the it has to come from within. When the change comes, it will come from within.
Yeah, because I know there's atheists out there because we can say we're atheists. When you're in a theocracy, you can't. You never know who's on your side. There might be more people on your side than you know, but you can't really find out without.
Yeah. Sharia law is just scary. So.
It's completely insane.
I can't find my tweet to you. I don't know how to do this. How do I do this?
Well, I gotta go walk the doggy. I'll talk to you later, hopefully.
All right. See you later. Hey, you, Australian guy.
Adrian.
I'll call him what I want. Defender. I'll call him Defender. Call him.
Yeah,
call
call me Australian guy. Call me
Australian guy.
Adrian. Whatever
Defender.
you like.
What was it? I am defender.
Hey, I know an Australian guy. I can't be racist, right?
That's right. So I can't be all bad.
Yes.
I'm friends with this Australian, therefore, I don't know.
Yes. Therefore, you aren't.
Something. I don't know. I can't. Can you look through your tweets of the one that I sent? Because I don't know how to look through. Like, how do I do this?
If you give me 15 minutes, I'll be able to do that. I'm just busy doing something else.
All right, that's fine. I know. That's fine. I don't know how to do what I'm doing. All right. If Satan was real, Satan would hide within religion. Yeah, I think Satan made. You should read my book that I haven't published yet, but I will. Called Lightbringer, and it's I put it I can put it somewhere. I mean, it would not be edited or anything, so you'd have to suffer through all my spelling or lack thereof.
Yeah, that's a pretty. I mean, I don't know if it's typical, but it's one of those things that people on their way out of religion often come across. Just because there's so much hypocrisy, in the Bible specifically, because that's where we're talking about Satan coming from.
Well, it's kind of an invention of the church. The whole Satan character was kind of just
right.
Yeah,
I mean, well, it in Revelation, they sort of kind of established the Satan and then sort of retrofitted it.
Right. Well, Revelation's about King Nero, so I don't know why. I don't know why it wound up in the Bible. I mean,
no, I've heard you say that before, and I actually looked into it, and there's a lot of parable there, and that's likely where most of it comes from. Yes.
Yeah. Well, I it's one of the things I bring up sometimes when I'm talking with Christians. I said, do you even know how the Council of Nicaea decided what was or what wasn't canon? Like, what was the system that they used? And there wasn't really a system. They just voted on what they thought was canon. Like, that's it. It's just decided. That's it. It's just that simple. It's like, oh, but they were guided by the Holy Spirit. I'm like, you don't know that. You don't know. How do you know? What if they left out something that was important? Why not keep it all? It's like, well, but this part isn't like whatever. I'm like, yeah, well, keep it anyway.
Well, yeah, just here's the thing. Just the fact that any information was edited or redacted in any way, shape, or form. Well, I mean, let's go ahead and draw a line towards the current administration. Like, do you trust when forms are redacted and parts are edited out by interested parties? Do you trust that manuscript at that point?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's literally the same shit we're dealing with today.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you have to.
No. Here's the thing: does the truth have anything to fear from more information? Does more information, do more sources of input, even if they say opposite stuff, even if they're blatant lies? At what point does more input equal less truth?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, the transparency, I think, is very important.
At what point does redacting any document make it more true?
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, like, it's like, well, say you have a spy that you have somebody somewhere, and the thing says the spy's name and where they're at. That's going to get the spy killed. So you wouldn't want that information public. Like, so you'd have to censor that out or whatever.
Right. But we're acknowledging that we're censoring out truth for a reason, and we can even point out that reason. Right.
So it's like, well, this is blanked out because of privacy concerns, because of whatever, and it's like, okay, well,
that's how normal journalism works. Yeah. But not when we're talking about the Bible, and not when we're talking about other stuff going on.
Yeah, the Jefferson Bible.
Someone wanted to knock on Trump earlier, but whatever.
Yeah, no. Well, I mean, I don't know I don't know who to trust anymore. I just like I'm jaded. I think I don't know how we could do it. Like, could could Americans decide that we want like a whole new government in full? Like, forget Congress. Let's like have a different thing. You know, like just start over. You know, start from scratch.
I actually have to go.
Oh, okay.
I got a text, and I got to go pick my cousin up from work.
All right.
But real quick, and one last response to Doorknob Head, redacting documents to make it more true, and he referenced the Jefferson Bible. Here's the thing: taking out the miracle parts of a myth doesn't make the non-miracle parts true. If I remove all the magic from the Hercules story, there might have been a really strong guy in history named Hercules, but taking all the magic out of the Hercules story is certainly not going to tell his life story.
Yeah. Well,
not for true.
I would say my analogy I usually go to is Gone with the Wind. Seems like it could have been written as a historical novel. There's nothing in it that's miraculous or magical. All the characters are pretty true to life. The events certainly happened around that area at that time like that, but people weren't singing.
Historical fiction.
Yeah, it's historical fiction, you know, but it's not believable. Right. So it seems true. It could be true, but it's not history. It didn't actually happen. Those characters don't actually exist in reality. So the question is, you know, how do we find out what's true? And that's something that you know, you go, okay, well, if all we have is the historical method to rely on, and we didn't know that Gone with the Wind was made up, could we figure out that it was made up? I don't know the answer to that. But if we can't, there wouldn't be any harm in thinking it was real because it's mundane. I think the harm comes when you have non-mundane things. So, you know, I mean, the Jefferson Bible, yeah, it might be more mundane.
Right. Well, now we're talking about the difference between taking miracles out of fiction to determine whether they're true or whether we should believe miracles in historical fiction.
Right. Well, yeah.
But on that note, I gotta go.
Bye.
If you guys are still online in 15 minutes, I'll jump back on. I'll see y'all later.
All right. Okay. Is he gone yet? Can we say anything quick? Talk smack about him now that he's gone. Adrian, help me. Adrian.
Let's see. What is your? Did you send me a message or did you? Yes, it did. You sent me a message. Here you go.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, I got those messages. Let's see. My mentions from. How long ago did you send me this on Twitter?
I don't know. It's one of the things I added you at. I was like, oh, at you, and I was like, hey, look at this or something.
Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know. I wonder if I can.
Yeah, I was like trying to find it. Like
put in the thing to Google you.
Yeah, tweets and replies. I mean, mentions. What would it be under? I don't know. That's what I was asking. I was like, how do I search for me under you? I don't know. It's gonna make for thrilling listening to later. Well, I mean, yeah, that one person decided, you know, to F me and, you know, to bleep with me because, I mean, I dare, you know, to do something that they find offensive. And see, that's the sort of thing that, yeah, I mean, I'll go into it more later. I can't even find me on you. That's so weird. So I don't know.
Here we go. 21st. I see your reply to me, but that tags me in, but I don't see. This tweet is unavailable.
Huh. Well, where's that?
I see this tweet is unavailable.
Oh, okay. Well,
hold on. I'll just take a photo of it.
I can't. Yeah. How do I search me through the?
Well, I searched. You know how you go at Deconverted Man, and then I'll put at Men's Rights Oz on there as well. I just put both of those in the search bar and came up with that. And I found it. Let's see if I can put it on the. Oh. How do I? Yes. How do I get to the chat room of this thing?
Gillette, the most work you can get.
Allow. Here you go. Send. I'm now sending you the video. It's uploading now.
There it is. I found it. Haha, I found the thing. Okay, there we go. Here, I got it, man. I'm gonna put it in this. Like, we could go off air. Nobody cares about this anymore. It's interesting, the people that hated me last time from the last chat, like, you know, they're gone now, and now they're. I mean, I don't know. Whatever. Okay. Why do I keep refocusing on things that I'm gonna focus on later? Doorknob head. That's a great name. Doorknob head. Oh, yeah, Spooky Bedhair said to call you Kiwi. Why? Why would that
Well, we okay. Kind of like the relationship between Australia and New Zealand, which is what he's referring to me as, is kind of similar to the relationship between America and Canada. There's a sort of friendly rivalry going on there, but it is a rivalry.
Yeah, I know a Kiwi on YouTube. She's cool. She says she's a Kiwi. She's like, I'm a Kiwi, and I'm like, okay, cool.
Yes, it's also a fruit, so they're naming themselves after a fruit.
Oh, it's Australian for fruit or bird. Okay, I know kiwi. Kiwi is that green thing.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I know that.
Yes.
I love eating them. It's yummy. They're yummy.
Here you go. You are now cannibal, sir.
I love eating kiwi. Especially young. Okay, anyways, ripe kiwi. What? Okay, I'm demonetized. I think that yeah, there's that. Okay, cool. Did you see the thing in the chat though? It's right there. Over there. See the chat? It's right there. Pointing at it. Obviously, you can't see it because I'm pointing at it. I'll message you on the thing, I guess. Oh, I hate the new Twitter thingy. Don't you? The outline, or what do you call it? What's it called?
What I do is I just have everything that I put on Facebook get automatically put onto Twitter. So I maybe log into Twitter maybe once a month or something even. I barely ever do it.
Yeah, I quit Facebook though. I was like getting tired of it. I was getting tired of the same sort of thing I was complaining about before, where you would say something, everybody would pile up on you with nothing but insults, no actual arguments. They wouldn't listen to what you were saying. They wouldn't hear the nuance. They didn't pay attention, you know. It's just like, oh, you're wrong. And it's like, F you, and that's it. And it's like, oh, you need to do the research. You need to do this. Like, you need to educate yourself. And it's like,
I've always found Twitter as worse than Facebook in that. I'm
starting to see it, so I'm like, I guess I'll have to kill Twitter next. How do I send it? It's not letting me send a message. I don't know how to message you on Twitter now. Oh, here we go. Oh, there. Okay. Nope. Did that do it? I don't know. Okay.
Could you try emailing me?
I put it on Twitter, but I don't know if I have your email handy. Let's see. Oh, yeah.
Well, that's easy. My email is adrian@thegrandpatriarchy.com, obviously.
Yeah, no, yeah. That's a great picture. I'm now the somebody sent me a 1 minute skeptic. I was like, oh yeah, cool, thanks. I was in caps lock while I did that too. That's gonna look weird. There you are. There. I emailed it to you. Whatever. I don't know what the hell I'm doing anymore. Frustrated Atheist, what the hell is this? It's Lobster Live. Do you want to talk, Frustrated Atheist? You missed all the fun from before, but this is a new sort of fun. What? Frustrated, do you want to come in? Let me add him here. I'll do that. I don't care. I'm losing my voice. I don't know. It won't let me add him. I don't know what Lobster Live is. Neither do I.
Well, I got it on Twitter anyway.
You got it? You found the thing I was talking about finally?
Yes.
Yeah, isn't that great? Yeah, I was like, oh, isn't that great? It was tweeted it. I mean, this person that, I mean, there, you saw the original tweet though? It's like, so.
No, it's false.
Huh?
The original tweet is unavailable, at least for me.
I see.
Maybe
Okay.
they blocked me.
Oh, okay. Well,
I think potentially they
right.
blocked me.
That's possible. Glinner @Glinner GLINNER. See if that person blocked you. Like if you click on it, doesn't it tell you? Or at GL, I'll put it in.
GL.
Sorry. Where is it? GLINNER.
ER. I am blocked from following this person. Or from viewing their tweets. I have no idea who this person is, but apparently I have had a great enough effect on their lives to have them.
You might be
which is always
like,
fun.
There's those things that block people based on associated keywords. Yeah, that's probably it. It's because you have the evil keyword in your name that you shouldn't have.
Right.
It makes you evil and all that. I won't say it on YouTube because they'll probably.
And you don't somehow.
Yeah, I don't, dude. I've done so many horrible things on Twitter. I should be banned, like, permanently. You saw my experiment, right?
No.
Oh, you didn't. You missed that. Hold on. Let me tweet you this so you can see what I'm talking about. You'll like it, since you can't see it. Like, men. There. Men. Tweet. There. No context. Just, you'll see it. There you go. All right. Cool. All right. And it's coming soon. Hit the bell icon, that way I'm sure that I see it. Yeah, this is I've been noticing I haven't seen like I hadn't noticed that Frustrated Atheist had uploaded something a while back, and so it's like I put the little bell thing on so then it will tell me when he uploads next time.
So I'm very happy to hear that you attend Lobster University.
Oh yeah, of course.
Well, I assume that is code for whatever university Jordan Peterson tends to open.
No, I was the lobster first. Look, it was my thing. They took it from me. I had the lobsters way before he ever thought of that. Like that was
Yeah.
it's mine and ignorant. Look, I have a book. Does he have a book? Yeah, he has a book. Okay, but my book.
Yes, he has a book, and he's actually launched his book.
Yeah, I know, but my book says it's true in the book. Okay.
So therefore, it is true.
Yeah, right, exactly. Pretty sure it says it's true in there. I haven't read it in a while, to be honest. Somebody else can read it. I've sent it to you multiple times, probably by now. Every time it comes up, I'm like, here, go read it. And people will be like, what? I don't know. And they'll be like, oh my goodness, what the bleep is this? I'm like, it's the Lobsterist. It's awesome. And you're like, you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, do you?
Not really, but
Or
it's okay.
you do, but you don't care. I don't know. Nobody else cares. So, yeah. Where is it? But what's his face? What's his face? Beelzebub sent me a 1 minute skeptic episode, so that will be a thing. Yay! So cool. I haven't had one of those in a long time. So, thanks, Beelzebub. I will make that a thing very soon. I just have to put the opening and ending on it and stuff, and then it will be a episode. Yay! Did I make you do one of those yet?
Potentially.
I probably did.
I did an episode about you.
I know we did a talk.
We did talk about
guy from my
you
past.
mostly.
Yeah, we talked about. Look, that was the most important subject of all time. Was me, obviously.
Well, yeah, obviously.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
because whatever you do, you deep yourself into it so deep. Yeah, it's almost impossible to pull you out of it.
I took the personality test thing that Jordan had or whatever, you know. Although there's other places that offer it, but anyways, and it was like compared if you were in a room of 100 people, you are more narcissistic than 98 of them. I'm like, yeah, that's right, because I'm more important than them. Wait, what does narcissistic mean? It means you're. Oh, that's what it means. Yeah, that's right. I'm better than everyone else. Screw them.
Well, at least you're honest with yourself.
Yeah, I should put that up as a thing somewhere. I'm putting this everywhere. I don't even know where to send this to you anymore.
Well, email is fine. Messaging me on Twitter is fine now that I'm currently logged in. But
yeah, like there. I've done it. I've done everything. I've spread the gospel. Go here. I challenge you to read it and make sense of it.
Lovely.
Analyze it and produce a video about it. You don't make videos, though, do you? Hardly.
Not really often.
No.
Not often. I very rarely, if ever, make videos. And when I do, it's just about a very small topic that I want to talk about for try to talk about it for less than 10 minutes. Because otherwise I just ramble.
I don't know
if I don't set myself like a time limit, I will just ramble.
That's not what we.
So I'm trying to organize. Ironically, I'm trying to organize my next video to be about vegans.
I have a guy that has stuff about vegans. I should give you his stuff. I meant to watch it, but I never got around to it. I was like, yeah, whatever. He hates vegans. I don't care.
Well, see, the thing is, recently there was a vegan that was sent to jail in Australia, and they're still trying to feed him meat in jail. And I'm like, okay, that's
what?
Kind of stupid.
If they
We're not trying to supplement their diet, his dietary requirements, because he's vegan, and I think.
I mean, if they do that for religion, they should do it for that.
Yeah, well, one, yeah, I agree, and two, I can go down the street and get like 5 kilos of potatoes for $3. Like,
Right.
can you say that about any meat? You know,
Yeah, meat's more
like there's
expensive.
so many vegetables that are significantly cheaper by the kilo than meat is, and so you can't hide behind cost in this. You know, you can't. I mean, you could say to a degree maybe he's asking for special treatment because he's asking to be fed the way that he chooses to be fed, perhaps, but it's not really. Like it's fine. I don't see an issue with him wanting to not eat meat if that's his preference. But yeah. And so I really want to try, because of that, the topic of that, when I posted that, led to a lot of negative comments about vegans and not caring and all that. And so I want to get to the bottom of that general dislike and of them. And I want people to understand that they may be annoying, but when they do something wrong, I think it's fair to expect that they get fed according to their beliefs.
Oh yeah, you were mentioning the thing about jail and jail reform, and I think that yeah, we absolutely need to reform the whole system. Like I think what is, I don't remember where it is, but they have like the jails look like beautiful rooms, like hotels rooms or something, and they have like a 1% return rate or whatever, and then like they have a maximum sentence of like 9 years or something. So it's like that system works because they treat them as humans. They don't treat them like animals. And
Yeah.
they're separating them from society, but they're also giving them job programs and therapy and medication or whatever. So like the reason that they did something bad was, that's what's being examined, is like, well, maybe they had a mental problem. So we don't really do that in America. I mean, the amount of people that have pled innocent by mental insanity they still go to jail. Like sometimes they'll go to the mental thing, but the mental thing is also a jail. So it's not like an actual mental thing. And like, are they getting the right treatment? Who knows? Nobody cares about them because they're
criminals.
They're criminals, right? And so they lose all.
Which is so stupid, because when they go out, when they leave, guess what? That they're still criminals because they haven't been they haven't been given us alternative skills, and now they have a criminal record, so people are less likely to hire them. Right. So they're even in a worse
there's a cloud over their head forever. Right. It's not enough.
Yeah, and so they're so much more likely to commit another crime.
Yeah, it's not enough that we punish them once. It's they're punished forever. It's the red scarlet letter, basically. It's, you are marked. You have to put in your resume that this happened. It will show up on background checks, whatever. And it's like, well,
that is so antithetical to how Australia was made. Even.
Yeah, what was the point?
We still do it.
Yeah, what was the point of the jail then? If it's like, okay, you steal something. Okay, so we want the thing back. Okay, you don't have the thing to give back. Okay, so we want money to get enough money from you that would equal the thing. Okay, so if we put you in jail, how are you going to make that money? We're taking it away from whatever job you might have. If you don't have a job, then we should make you work so that you earn money to give back to the person you stole from, right? Like that would make sense, and we could do that, but we don't. And then for other things, it's like, okay, somebody raped somebody. Well, why did they do that? Because something went wrong in their head to do something like that. Like, what was the situation? Is it, if they're like in the park at night and they, grab somebody and rape them, right? Okay, well,
the thing is, though, we really.
Like, well,
I think the reason why we don't go into why those crimes happen is because a lot of these crimes are based in horrific things that happen during childhood. and I forget the survey, but a while ago, a couple of criminologists did a survey where they would ask rapists all sorts of questions, and two things that they found out according to that survey, and again, I'll have to try to remember what the fuck it was. One is that conservatives are wrong. That it's actually that they felt that women were dressed more conservative, were more vulnerable in their eyes than women that were dressed more outlandishly.
Wait, what?
So one that yeah, exactly. They felt the people who were dressed more conservative were more perhaps awkward, and therefore were better targets for them than women that were dressed like horse, for example. That was one thing that they found, right? Which so it's completely the opposite way to the way
It's like, wait a minute, that's not,
would say, right? It's completely opposite to that. And two was what they found is many of them were raped or molested, generally by or through their mothers when they were young, or by a woman of some kind when they were young. And that's not something that we really want to talk about in society. We just want to say that they're men and men are rapists, and that's it.
Yeah. Or the few times that they're women, which does happen, that they're not rapists because the terminology doesn't extend to that. Although that's been eroding finally, like has been changing slowly, but it's still like, oh well, men are really the ones that do it. Like, well,
certain people who are allegedly for equality are putting up a real fight about that one. Let me just say that.
Yeah, made to penetrate being considered rape is like, no, we don't want that. It's like, well, why not? It is rape. Like, why? Like, I don't get that. It doesn't make any sense to me. But yeah, I mean, something.
It makes perfect sense.
How I view breaking the law is in two ways. One, society failed you in a sense because society didn't give you what you needed to live by the rules, and there's a number of things that you could that might be at fault. Maybe it was the parents, but then okay, well, why didn't the rest of society pick up the slack, like in the education system? Maybe that failed them. Maybe this failed them, and so on and so forth.
Let's just say our education system is damn right incompetent. Like,
well,
in so many fucking ways.
It's been that way for years. I mean, yeah, I know. It's like you bring up the one topic, and then you have to bring up 10 other topics because they're all, related. So it's like, well, if we taught ethics in school, would that help? It might, but then there's been studies that people that learn ethics actually are less moral than those that don't. So I don't know, but if we took out the pointless stuff and taught people real life skills and what the laws are, maybe just knowing what the laws are would be good, and knowing what the penalties are would be good, and having a uniform thing rather than it seeming like it's arbitrary, because like you do see, like, here's a guy. He caught caught with weed did a month. This other guy caught with weed did 5 years. It's like, well, why? Well, this and this and this and this. Like, okay, but that's not like why not have it be the same punishment? And of course, with weed and all that sort of stuff, I think it should just be legal. Forget about it. But America. Last I looked, we're number one in the jail system. Like, we have the biggest jail system. Yeah, land of the free, sure, but also land of the most people locked up. And then they're ex-cons, and so it's like, look, where's the sympathy for that person? And this was the one thing.
Actually, there was a question I had about the American jail system. If you could answer it for me. After someone is in jail, are they allowed to vote?
Unless they did a federal crime.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the thing that Bernie.
Sanders.
Yeah, Bernie Sanders had gotten flack for promoting the idea that everybody should be able to vote, including people that have committed federal crimes. And they said, like, oh, like the Boston bomber, he should be allowed to vote or whatever. And it's like, yes, Yeah, why does
Why not?
committing a federal crime lose your right to vote? Like, unless you did.
Well,
Now, here's the thing. Okay, it's not. It's a privilege. Is it a privilege or is it a right to vote? If it's a privilege to vote, then revoking it makes sense. If it's a right to vote, then revoking it doesn't make sense. But in either case, okay, I could understand if the person did something wrong in the voting thing, like maybe they cheated in the voting system somehow. They screwed up the ballots, or they messed up the data or what have you, and that would be a reason to not let them vote anymore because they broke the rules. But something unrelated, like, well, why? Like, what, are you afraid they're going to vote in somebody that makes their crime legal or something? Okay, well, that might be why would that be wrong? I don't get it. But it's like, well, they broke the law at a federal level, so therefore they can't vote again.
right, and so this makes sense to me, because this makes so much more sense that you said that, because I've heard my fellow American MRAs talk about how not being conscripted was a federal offense in America. And I did not
Yeah.
know.
If you did, yeah,
I did not know. Like, okay,
yeah,
how
we
does
had
that
to,
stop
yeah,
you from voting though? And so now that you said, okay,
right.
well, now that you can't, so
You
because
have to
don't
register.
sign up, you
Yeah,
actually can't vote.
yeah.
You'll actually be correct, and so that
Yeah, at
makes
the
a lot
age
more
of 18, if you are a guy, you must sign up. You must sign. Uh, Goodness, I forget what the hell it's called. It's
selective
not.
service.
It's selective. Well, you don't have to do anything. Okay, you don't have to actually go in the military or civil service. Like, I think with England or somewhere you do, but one of those places you have to. But which actually there might be a good argument to make for that. But at any rate, you don't have to do anything. But you're registering so that they know who you are, so that if the draft ever became a thing, that they could draft you. And it's a
Yeah.
holdover from that. But it only targets men, because the men.
Well, that's quickly changing. I mean,
Well,
there's giant law case in it at the moment, and I
well,
think they've
I don't
just
think
decided to include
the
women.
draft thing is a holdover from when we had the draft. Now, we don't really have the draft anymore. It's not really even a thing. They haven't used it for ages now. So the military is huge, big, and if we got to the point where we would have to enact the draft, we're screwed anyways. At that point, because we already have the biggest military in the world. So there's no way that we would have to do the draft again. So it should go away for that reason. But if you didn't register for the draft, then you've committed a federal crime, and then you can't vote anymore. And if you don't know that, because nobody tells you that, you just are supposed to know when you get this thing in the mail, it says you have to do this, it's the law, and you're like, okay, like, you just have to believe that that's true, and that you're not just signing a thing because nobody tells you that this is a thing, right? You just have to find out that it's a thing on your 18th birthday, basically. Like, they don't tell you in school. Like, you'd have to learn it online or something. I don't know. But I don't even remember how I learned about it. I just know that I was like, oh, here's this thing that I got in the mail. What's this? I asked, and it was like, oh, you have to do that. I was like, okay, all right, whatever. And I wound up serving in the military anyways, but I didn't have to. But there is places where you have to do civil service or military service after a certain age, like for a certain amount of time. And I think that's good in a way, because it gives people a leg up. But it's everybody. It's men and women. It's not just men. So it's like, why is it only men? Oh, because that's what it was back then. So that's
Because patriarchy. That's why.
Yeah, well, yeah. Well, it's a holdover. It's a holdover from the old times, and they haven't changed or gotten rid of the law because
Yeah. Because doing that is hard.
Yeah, doing that's hard. Nobody really wants to fight it.
But now there's been this challenge that they've made the declaration that it should now affect women as well. I suspect the moment that gets applied, it'll be maybe 2 days until it's no longer around, because suddenly everyone in the country will care about it, whereas before they didn't care. It was just like, okay, that happens, who cares?
Yeah,
And,
yeah. Like if you fought against, if you fought against it to either get rid of it or to include women, you'd probably get the whole, accusation of whatever. I guess probably, but there isn't. I don't think there's a reason to have it anymore because the draft probably isn't something that's ever going to happen again. Hopefully, but now Beelzebub was saying we don't necessarily have the largest amount of people in the military, and that I don't know. I didn't think to look into that, but yeah, I mean,
yeah, I think China has the largest amount of people. If
who?
correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
Be.
China or Muslims have a lot, but yeah, I mean, if you have more power than they do, it doesn't really, it's like I have tanks and helicopters and ships. What do you got? We have 1,000 people. Okay, well, you have 5 people you can operate. Who can one flies a plane that has missiles pointed at you. One flies 20 drones that are aimed at you. It's like you're pretty screwed at this point. If we have better stuff than you do, so. It's like, let's just fly these little tiny drones over you and they'll drop little bombs on you. How about that? They recently the FDA approved Amazon, or was it Google, drone delivery service.
That's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to see how that works. But it's interesting that it was FDA because that's Food and Drug Administration. I was like, why would they have to approve delivery? Wouldn't that be like post office? Like, I don't. Chinese people, Liberation Army. Okay, yeah, but yeah, we're most powerful. And the other question would be whether or not we could actually have a war with another country, like actual war, like what we did in Afghanistan was like nothing. Like that's like if we were determined to stomp them out of existence, like we wouldn't even go there. We just launch stuff at them, right?
Well, yeah, I think that's the terrifying thing is that I'm not sure we could even have a war without killing almost everybody on the planet.
Right, because the moment that one person launches a nuke and it doesn't matter who's aimed at, everybody else is like, oh, well, we better launch nukes, I guess. Well, it wasn't even targeted at us. Yeah, I know, but they did it. So, I mean, we need to do it too. I was like, why, But,
why not?
well, they did it. Everyone else is doing it. I want to join in, Why have this if we're not going to use this? That's terrifying that we have them.
Well, that was the whole point,
Yeah, we were supposed to get rid of them, and we had been getting rid of them for a while, but then I don't know. I guess people stopped getting rid of them. I don't know.
Well,
but yeah, you have the
original. The original ultimate weapon was supposed to be the Gatling gun. It was supposed to make people so afraid of war, right? That they would see how horrible it is and stop it,
right?
And that did jack shit, So anyway, I think I think at this point we're kind of running out of stuff to talk about.
Oh yeah,
so it might be time to call it a day.
That was hours ago. All right, fine.
Hey, we've only been on for 2 hours and 10 minutes. Well, I've only been on here for 2 hours and 10 minutes.
Because I've lost my voice. It doesn't mean anything. All right, so next time, anyone that's listening right now, next time I'll have a whole thing where I've read a whole bunch of things, and then because I did that, then since everyone hated me logically, everyone should love me if I then agree with them, right?
Yes, I already love you as long as you agree with me.
Right? Like, all right. Take care, everybody. Don't forget to be skeptical of things and stuff. And I like your live streams. Thank you, Tiger Dragon. I like your Tiger Dragon. I don't know. What do you got? I don't know what there is to like. Let's see. Star Trek Discovery hater when I tell him it's my favorite Star Trek. Well, now I don't know if I can like this guy because he likes Star Trek Discovery.
It was okay.
No,
I didn't
it's
mind it.
horrible. What are you talking
I
about?
honestly didn't listen.
Look, we're gonna debate this.
Just forget it has a Star Trek name
No,
attached to it
no.
for just a second.
I
And
can't
just
forget.
take it
That's
as
the
its
whole
own
point.
thing.
No, it doesn't matter if it's its whole thing. It still sucks. I don't care what it is. It's horrible, and I don't like it. Okay. All right. The tiger wants to do another hour. No, I'm dead. My voice is gone. It's STD, right? What were they thinking? Just the name? Like, didn't they think, hey, every other Star Trek's been abbreviated down to 3 letters, so we need to think about what we're gonna name our show? Like, did they not do that? Did not somebody somewhere in that meeting say, STD, hello? Should we name
Also,
it?
for the record, Star Wars The Last Jedi was really good.
Well, now you've just lost all credibility.
It's literally better than Return of the Jedi.
Now, look, say what you will about Hitler, but he's not he's not the prequels and he's not the new Star Wars films. So, yeah. And if he was a sex doll, would you have sex with it? That's the question. From way back. Yeah, I brought it around. Yeah.
All right.
All right.
Bye,
Well,
everyone.
if you made it to this point, goodbye. Lobsters exist. I'm dead now. Lols. I'm gonna put a pin here. Pin. All right. Goodbye. Well, yeah.